So George, it's a pleasure talking
Pleasure to meet you guys.
And honestly, like, there was a really interesting thing we were talking to one of our students last week, and we want to know, like, what you were saying, what it takes to get to a world championship class, what you gave up to get there.
You got to give your life up. You know, there was times my friends were out drinking. I didn't drink till 25 years old. My teammates, everyone would go out, have fun. I'd be in the gym by myself training. I gave up everything. I gave up my girlfriend at the time. This is in the very beginning. I had to suffer, give everything up, and dedicate my life to my teammates and to training. But I wanted to fight. Too many guys want the prestige of fighting, and they just want to get in there to say they fought. I was getting in a lot of trouble, and it saved my life. It stopped me from being a degenerate. I made me work harder. And then once I got my very first Thai fight and I knocked the guy out and I knocked another guy out, it just changed my life. And then when you get a taste for the power of fighting and what it offers you, you can either take it the right way or you fuck up and you party and you think you're a rock star. So there's a lot to it, but you gotta really sacrifice everything, especially during fight camp. You know, you gotta give it your all. Right now, my daughter's 5 months old. I should be with her, but I'm here training. I'm helping another teammate. That's the sacrifice that we make. You know, it's tough life, but it's worth it. It gave me my house. It gave me my gym. It gave me my friends, my family. It gave me my wife. So for me, fighting has been everything. You know?
You put your girlfriend on the porch if she was drunk in camp.
That was in the very beginning stages. Yeah. I won't say who she was, but she'll probably hear this and see it. She came home drunk. And I put her on the porch because I didn't give a shit. And I was young, I was 21 years old, I didn't drink. I just had started training and I was just not into it, I didn't give a shit, you know? She was trying to annoy me, keep me awake, and I wasn't having it, you know? Wouldn't do that to my wife though, I love you, babe.
You know, when you're at a UFC level compared to like a regular pro level, like how much harder and how much more demanding is your training?
UFC level was crazy. I put 13-week camps in. I put more than that. You train 3 to 4 times a day. It's very demanding. Early in my UFC career, when I was 23rd in the world, I was ridiculously training. The problem that happened with me is when I got suspended for that bullshit that I beat, that bottle, there was a bottle that had milk in it that the UFC tested, and it wasn't even my bottle, but it had bovine in it, so I got suspended. I had to go get a fucking job. And then I got suspended for fertility medication, and I have my daughter thanks to that fertility doctor, the other fertility doctor. But for 2 fucking bullshit reasons, I had to go back to work, and I wasn't able to have real UFC camps because I just bought a house and I was broke. So when you get established in the UFC, all you do is fucking train. 24/7, it's all you live, eat, breathe, train. And I'm doing that again for this fight that I'm about to release, who I'm doing. Who I'm about to fight. It's another UFC vet. It's gonna be a super fight. I have to do a UFC camp. So that means I'm going to PA to be with the Martinez brothers. I'm going to PA to be with Travis Rosler. I'm going here with Dan Fischer. I got Bruno at my gym, Bruno Patasia. I have, who else do we have? We have Mike Kiley coming for wrestling. I travel to Mike Burks at the Institute in Keensburg. So we're all over the place. You know, it's 5, 6 different places I have to go to train. And that means I'm away from my wife, I'm not working, I'm not with my friends, I'm not out drinking, I'm fucking training. And these young kids don't fucking do that. They think they're doing it, but they're only giving it half. Then they get 1 amateur fight and they think they're gods, and then that's it. And it's ridiculous. So that's why I've learned my lesson with babying some of these kids that I've helped get to the amateur level, and then it's like a waste of time, they just give up. And it's a sad thing to see. So any amateur fighters out there that are really trying to do this, you don't do 1 amateur fight, you don't do 2 amateur fights. You fight till you go pro, you get your first pro win, then you retire. Because it isn't fucking real until it's an actual pro fight when anything goes legally. So that should be your dream, not to do an amateur fight and then just quit. Unless you have some serious job and you just want to get in there and fight, then that's great. But if you legitimately want to fight, the pro level is where you go, you know?
How much, like, does it matter what you do outside of the gym opposed to in the gym?
You can't be stupid. You can't do drugs all the time. You can't drink all the time. You can't fucking smoke weed all the time. Once in a blue moon, you can go do whatever you gotta do. There's nothing wrong with living your life. Abusing that, showing up to the gym drunk and high, can't stand that shit. I hate when people show up to the gym high and you're a fucking idiot and you're trying to help me train, but you're too stoned to even realize you can do it. It's just, that's a waste of time. You're wasting your own time, you're wasting your teammates' time. I get the whole smoke and roll jujitsu and shit like that, but in MMA, don't fuck with that shit. That's so stupid. Go do that after you train. That's the way I look at it. And too many guys fuck around while they're training and it's really annoying. So I don't like that.
What about training outside of what your gym is doing? Is that too much training?
No such thing. I think you can burn out if you're sore, rest it. A lot of guys will be like, oh, fucking cortisone shot. No, you don't do a cortisone shot. You go take an ice bath or go in the hot tub and relax. Don't overtrain your body parts. If something hurts, train through it lightly. Don't be a bad teammate and take off and screw your teammates over. Because that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people are like, well, this hurts, I'm not gonna show up. You don't ever do that. If your teammates need you, you show up, moral support. You show up, whatever you can do for them, and then you leave. You don't leave anybody hanging ever. And I run outside, I lift outside, I run the beach. I do my own strength and conditioning now. I love Matt Jennings, he's taught me so much. I go to his gym every once in a while. I do whatever I can do, you know? It's never too much to train.
I asked this to a lot of people, but is there any lessons that you learned when you were an amateur that were different from pro or anything like that?
I was amateur Muay Thai. I fucking hated it because every time I would knock somebody out, I would go to Brooklyn with the Rhino fight team and then nobody would fight me. So I would waste 3 hours of my life getting there. I would show up. That's the one thing I don't like about amateurs. You have like a 50-50 chance that you're fighting even the day of. There's nerves, they're rookies, they're not getting paid. So being an amateur fighter is scary as shit if you devote your life to it and then you get there and then the guy pulls, which happens, I would say 50% of the time. It's risky being amateur. With a pro fight, you can get suspended if you pull out too late, if like it's right before the fight. So you're risking not being able to fight anymore. You can get fines. You can get black flagged. In amateur, what are you losing really, you know? So it's tough. It's tough.
So I want to ask you, can you tell me the uniqueness of, learning under Dan Fischer for his grappling style compared to other jiu-jitsu?
So funny thing is Dan found me punching the bag. And Dan, I have 13 knockouts as a pro, I think. All of them come from what Dan Fischer showed me. Mike Skoronsky has done a phenomenal job, so has Gil. They helped me with my boxing, but all my knees, my ground and pound are all from Fischer. His grappling is the meanest, nastiest, most violent feeling submissions you're ever gonna get. Jiu-jitsu, it flows. I have an amazing jiu-jitsu coach, Bruno, and Kurt Pellegrino has taught me a lot too. But grapplers fucking hurt, okay? They grind you, they pressure you. The top pressure is different. The submissions are different. There's more tweaking and more twisting. There's a lot of reaping. Dan is the king of all of that. To this day, I still get coach syndrome with him, and I'm like, I don't want to roll with you. What is he thinking about? What is he thinking about? Even at my level, I fought all over the world. Biggest fight league in the world. I still overthink with him. So, to me, I owe my life to him. He found me on the bag, I was punching, and he's like, I'll make you hit harder. And he's changed my life. And that's why we've been together my entire career. Unlike some ungrateful fighters who have used Dan, and I won't say who, but they got to a high level and then leave. And it's ridiculous. The people that get you to a place, you leave with respect. You don't just up and leave. You gotta show respect. And he's been walked all over by, I would say, 20 fighters. Because once they owe money to the gym or they owe money to the other gym he's in, they disappear because they're fucking cheap. And Dan has suffered. Me, I would never let that happen. Dan and I will be together for the whole entire career and some. We're gonna die together. That's my boy.
So, man, can you tell me your affiliation with Kurt Pellegrino a little bit for people who don't
Kurt, and when I left Rhino, I asked Kurt to be on his team. At first he said no, prick. I love you though. And then he thought I was a spy for Rhino, and I was supposed to fight Greg Soto, who I wound up fighting and beating and knocking out. No offense, Greg, I love you. But I was supposed to fight Greg, so they didn't want me on the team. Kurt took me in, and Kurt took everything that Dan taught me, but also showed me what a UFC life is like, and got me to an even higher level too. So with Dan and Kurt together, it just brought me way up, you know, and Kurt really showed me the ins and outs. He got Joe Silva. You know, we had 5 world titles together. Dan's all included in this, you know what I mean? Kurt just gave me a different look. So basically, all of the coaches that I've had a lot of coaches, they mold you. And in MMA, you become like an action figure. So you got to think about if you're playing a video game and you're picking different guns, and then as your character, that's what coaches are. So if you get the right coaches and it fits your style, you become awesome. If you have the wrong coaches and you stay with them because you love them, it can fuck your life up. And I was staying with Rhino too long. And my coach tried to get me to take a bullshit fight against a light heavyweight, and I was like 178 pounds. And I said, I'm out. I had too much. And he was going through some things and he wasn't thinking straight. We're still friends, but you gotta move on. And Kurt took me in, and he also was a huge part of changing my life. I had a brown belt under him. I mean, I recently changed jujitsu gyms under Bruno because he's in my gym, and I wanted to represent my own gym. So I'm getting my black belt under Checkmat now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, your UFC career, I just have like 2 questions as like a fan. Who has hit you the hardest? I mean, you could say training or not.
Well, I've only been TKO'd once in 30 fights, and that was by Alexander Yakovlev, but he caught me right. I've had over 40 fights total with amateur, and I've never been knocked out other than the one time. I was TKO'd. Jesus Martinez hit me the hardest I've ever felt in my last CFFC fight to get to the UFC. He hit me so hard I woke up on the other side of the ring and I asked myself what I was doing. And then I was like, oh shit, you're fighting. And then I wound up knocking Jesus out, thank God. I love you too, bro. He's my training partner. He hit me so fucking hard, I didn't even know what I was doing. But Alex caught me on the jaw and I dropped to the ground, they TKO'd me. But he's probably, those are the 2 most notable strikes. You know what I mean? Everybody else, nothing really, you know?
Interesting. Now, looking back at your UFC career, like, is there any certain lessons or certain things that you look back on?
Burned out against, well, what sucked for me, I was 23rd in the world, I was fighting to be 18th in the world. And I was training for 13 weeks to fight this little righty, I forget his name. He pulled out 2 weeks before the fight, and then they gave me Tim Means, who was 17th in the world. I was fighting him, the newspapers came, ESPN talked to me, all these companies, they're like, how does it feel to break top 20 if you're gonna fight him? I took a guy that fought 6 times, and I just got off my honeymoon. I was married, I was 2-0, I was undefeated in the UFC, and then I fight this seasoned guy on short notice because I wanted money. I should have said, no, I'm gonna wait and do a real camp for Tim Means. And I lost in the 3rd round. I won the 1st round, the 2nd round he started to win, and in the 3rd round he broke my nose and he got me with a choke. The lesson on that one was I trained for 14 and a half weeks, which is way too much. Then they changed my opponent on me from a 5'8" righty, 5'8", to a 6'2" lefty, 2 weeks before the fight. And I was so nervous because I wasn't ready and I knew it, but I still fought because I was pressured into it. I should have said, okay, I'm out. Get me a new fight camp for him. Because that was the biggest fight. If I would have won that, I would have been 17th in the world, you know?
Did you say you trained for a world title and you were sick too? Is that?
Yeah, that's happened to me several times. If you listen to my interview on the UFC, I fought with the flu, but we used snow to get my fever down. Dan Fischer's idea. And I had the full-blown flu, got my fever down, I won, then went to the hospital the next day, and then I fought Manny Walla with bronchitis, and then I go to the hospital after that, and I was out for 8 weeks with full bronchitis. And that was the last fight that I lost the title shot. That was terrible. I had no voice. We knew something was wrong because I came back in the 1st round. I won the 1st round easily. I came back, I had no voice. Couldn't even talk to them. And then I started to cough up green shit, and then we're like, shit, something's not right. I made it through the whole fight, but still wound up losing by a point. So, you know, stupid shit happens, and that's why I moved up to 85. No more 170 for me. So.
I respect your time, buddy. One last question. I ask this to everybody. What has martial arts in the fight game done for you?
Oh, dude, it's done everything. Like I said, I got my wife, I got my house, I got my cars, I got my fucking gym, 5,000 square foot gym. I got all these different people I've met over the years. I can go anywhere in the world and I can train with anybody I want. martial arts got me out of trouble. I didn't use it to be some famous asshole like some of you other idiots try to do. I used it to create myself and get myself a future, because I was a high school dropout with a GED. I was doing construction, and it wasn't enough. And fighting has given me the entire world. So if you like martial arts, do it. I'm not saying to fight. Not everybody can fight. But I think everybody should train in it, because you have the wrong people walking around that could hurt you. So if you're not training and they are, you're gonna lose. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Any last words for anybody who's trying to do this or anything?
Guys, just do it. Check Evolution out. I'm not gonna throw my gym in here. I'm here with Evolution. Dan Fischer at Engineered MMA are amazing. And just come support Dylan. If you need tickets, hit him up for tickets. Come to this gym and see what we do. You know what I mean? We all cross train. If you're from a different area, come pay a fucking mat fee and train. I curse a lot. I don't give a shit. But come train with us, guys. All right? Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it.
So much. Thank you
Thanks
so
a
much.
lot, guys. Thank
Appreciate
you,
it,
man.
buddy.
Thank you.